It is commonly acknowledged that being in love is one of the most beautiful experiences in life. However, it is also one of the most dangerous. Life is inherently risky, and the decision to join the Marines, from my perspective, was a calculated risk. I began my career in the Marines as a private and have since been promoted to the rank of corporal. I have worked hard to achieve this rank, and I am committed to remaining in the Marines for the remainder of my career. However, I am currently facing a challenging situation. I married my wife 3 years ago, and at the time I was deeply in love with her. I was drawn to her smile, her gaze, her laughter, and her hair. I found her attractive in every way. However, my feelings have since changed. I am uncertain as to whether I love this woman. I was deployed for 8 months while at the base. My brothers at the base would often remark that women only marry soldiers for the benefits, which they perceive to include pay, healthcare, education, and vacations. They also suggested that wives become lonely when their husbands are deployed and that they seek romantic relationships with other men. While I was away, I did not heed these warnings. I believed that not all women were like that. However, I am now unsure. It is not my place to say that every woman is like this. When I flew home, I had to take a 12-month during the hour-long flight. I experienced a profound longing to reunite with my family. The absence of my wife and infant daughter, despite maintaining regular communication, felt akin to a series of profound emotional blows. Upon arriving at our destination, I observed no immediate signs of their presence. I proceeded to wait in the house, contacting my wife via phone and text message, but received no response. As I made my way to the kitchen, I began to hear faint sounds emanating from the basement. Upon investigating, I proceeded to investigate the source of the noise, which I later identified as emanating from the basement door. I descended the stairs in a cautious manner, taking note of the soft, furry carpet beneath my feet. To my surprise, I encountered my wife in a compromising position with an individual I had previously known from high school. Despite the lack of intimacy between us, we had maintained a cordial relationship. I was taken aback by this turn of events. I had resolved to refrain from engaging in such actions. I proceeded to confront the man on the bed with a level of force that was sufficient to cause significant injury, resulting in a black eye and a busted lip. The man was aware of my marital status. My wife was also present during this altercation and was vocalizing her distress. I did not strike him, nor did I express remorse. From that moment on, my home has been a place of distress and anguish. My marriage has been irreparably damaged, and the memories I once cherished are now tainted. My brother's warnings about the fragility of marriage have proven true. I will never again place my trust in my wife. If I divorce, I will remain single and committed to my principles. I will not marry again, as it would be a futile gesture. Our marriage is still intact, but I regret staying with her daily. When she smiles at me, I avert my gaze. She initiates physical contact, attempting to kiss me. I turn my head. Our favorite pastime was sampling foods from unfamiliar cuisines. We would travel to other states solely for the purpose of dining at the highest-rated restaurants. This ceased after I departed for Asia. I have lost my romantic interest. When I discuss divorce, she immediately expresses remorse, shedding tears. She promises never to repeat this action. Despite her professed love for me, she has admitted to engaging in sexual intercourse with him on 3 occasions. While I was away, she only slept with him on those 3 occasions. I will be candid and admit that I am the most distant husband in the world. She cries to me, saying that she misses me, that her actions were a mistake, and that she is willing to do anything to make us the same as we were before. We do not argue, but we are more distant than enemies. She constantly suggests that we see a counselor. The objective of the counseling session is to facilitate a reconciliation between the 2 parties. However, it is evident that the counselor's approach may not align with the expectations of both parties. The counselor's methodology may involve instructing the couple to engage in physical contact or prolonged eye contact, which may be perceived as an intrusion by the husband. The husband's primary concern is not about his daughter, but about maintaining the integrity of his relationship with his wife. Despite the daughter's resemblance to her mother, the husband is committed to the relationship and does not believe a DNA test is necessary to prove paternity. The daughter's presence in his life is a significant factor in his decision to remain in the marriage. The husband's brother stationed at the military base did not express any negative sentiments regarding the situation. I recall them stating, "When you return home and discover your spouse in your bed with another individual, we will inform you that we had foreseen this outcome. However, He did not assert that he was ruining his life with the wrong person. Instead, he stated that if he had not divorced, he would have been miserable. He believed that he could find a suitable partner. Update. I experienced a significant depressive episode during my divorce. However, I always had my daughter with me. She comes to me and hugs me, telling me that she loves me and that she heals me. I am currently experiencing a significant improvement in my emotional state, following a period of considerable distress. However, I will continue to process the traumatic experiences I encountered during my time in the military, which were far more intense than the challenges I am currently facing. I have the support of my daughter, who provides me with immense comfort and strength. While I am open to the possibility of forming a new romantic relationship in the future, I do not anticipate doing so in the near future. I have come to realize two important lessons. Firstly, that I cannot trust others, and secondly, that marriage is not a viable option for me at this time. My primary focus now is on supporting my daughter and myself. I hope you are all staying safe and well. It is unfortunate that many people are still becoming unwell. I apologize for interrupting, but if you appreciate my content, I would be grateful if you could take a moment to subscribe to my channel. I am extremely grateful for your support. I will now continue with my story. Initially, everything seemed normal. However, as time passed, I began to observe suspicious behavior. For instance, she frequently kept her phone with her and placed it in her pocket while asleep. This seemed innocuous at first, but it soon became a recurring pattern. Additionally, I worked overnight shifts while she worked during the day. When I left for work, she would rarely engage in conversation, even though we often had minimal contact throughout the day. These observations led me to develop a sense of unease, as I had experienced similar situations before. As I had previously experienced a similar situation, I initiated an investigation. I discovered that she utilized my computer on a regular basis due to the absence of her own device. Consequently, I downloaded an alternative messenger program that she was unaware of, which retained records of the chats. She remained unaware of this, and I subsequently observed her engaging in frequent flirtation with other males, although she had not physically cheated on me to my knowledge. On one occasion, I informed my superior of my concerns while working at night. This occurred at approximately midnight, with 2 hours remaining before the end of the workday. I was instructed to drive home and ascertain her presence. I had a strong suspicion that she would not be there. She was not. I sent her a text message inquiring about her whereabouts. She replied that she was in the living room watching television. She informed me that she was at her friend's house, where a male acquaintance of mine had taken her. She was aware of this as well. The most significant development occurred approximately a week later, when she attended a social gathering with a group of her friends and did not return home that night. I observed that all of her friends were online and engaged in discourse about the party, as it had concluded. She had not yet returned home, and upon her arrival, she exhibited a markedly affectionate and loving demeanor. I was thus led to conclude that something untoward had occurred. At last, the long-awaited culmination arrived. The charter, the individual in question, was present at our residence due to the malfunctioning internet. While he was there, she proceeded to bathe the dog and inadvertently left her phone behind. I accessed her text messages and discovered that the first message was from an unknown individual. It read, "Did you enjoy it when I was on top?" The subsequent message indicated that the next encounter would involve the use of toys, including vibrators and other sexual aids. These observations provided overwhelming evidence of infidelity. I informed the charter technician, who was still working on the internet, of my suspicions and requested his immediate departure. I recently discovered that my partner had been unfaithful. He denied it, but as soon as he left, I became enraged. I do not recall the exact sequence of events, but I remember yelling at her and accusing her of being angry with me for looking at her phone. I specifically recall saying, "So next time you're going to use toys, huh?" I then proceeded to walk over to where she kept all the dildos and threw them off into the field behind our apartment complex. Had apartments below, next to, and above us. I then departed before I threw her off as well. I proceeded to sit in my vehicle to attempt to regain my composure so that I would not leave the scene in a hasty manner. I subsequently observed her traversing the field in plain view of all the neighbors and retrieving her dildos. I would have been inclined to laugh about the situation had I been in a more jovial frame of mind at the time. However, I was currently in no mood for levity. Nevertheless, upon reflection, I find myself unable to suppress a fit of laughter at the recollection of the incident.